Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. Honestly, it is a different crime every day, isn't it?
Right.
Or a different crime is unveiled. And this guy that just was shot to death by the FBI, this is what your whole piece was so dead on about what needs to happen before somebody does something about Trump's incitement of violence.
I think the one big picture thing, Steph, is that we've all learned so much about the law. I think most people could sit for the bar exam now because we've learned during the time of Trump, we learned about parts of the Constitution we never heard of, the emoluments clause, and you go through, and now we're to a January 6th attempted coup and the espionage case, and now you have this. Look, there's an uptick in, I call it MAGA chat. Remember Al-Qaeda chatter after 9/11? This is MAGA chatter. And I wrote an article a few days before that noting how in the last few weeks, I've seen more angry emails from Trumpers. I had not seen it in years since he left office, threatening, vile stuff. I had Rick Wilson on my show who said this week, same thing, he's seen it.
Yeah.
Well, you're seeing this uptick in anger, and we're seeing Judge Chutkin, who's the D.C. judge presiding over January 6th case, had to have increased security.
Yeah.
You've had Fani
She has
Willis.
to have U.S. Marshals follow her everywhere
Yeah.
to the cafeteria. I mean, you tweeted, you said if Trump is not reined in now, we will see more MAGA terrorism. We can all see where this is heading. So, this hearing is going to be in a few minutes. What do you think's going to happen, Dean, and what do you think should happen?
What do I think should happen? I think this is not hyperbolic. Donald Trump should be in a prison cell and remain there, remanded in custody to the trial date, because he is charged with 78 felonies, 32 violations of the Espionage Act. Reality Winner had one charge, and she was in jail until the trial date. Jack Teixeira, the 21-year-old Air National Guard guy that people on the right love, 2 charges in there to the time of trial. Donald Trump is charged with attempting a coup. And I don't say that because I despise the guy that he should be in prison. I do. Our nation's not safe with a man like this walking around inciting more violence.
Right.
He knows what he's doing. No one knows his base better, Steph, than Donald Trump. He knows they respond when he targets someone with threats and even violence, and he keeps doing it and doubling it down. So today, Judge Chutkin's going to have the protective order oral argument between Jack Smith and what they want and what Trump's team want. I hope it's raised this issue of Trump last Saturday attacking Mike Pence. Forget it, Mike Pence is a key witness.
I was just going to say, Dean,
went to the dark side.
Can you explain to us lay people the difference between a gag order and a protective order? Because this, I think, as you're implying, is protecting the witnesses. Because, as someone was saying, if something happens to a prosecutor or a judge, they can be replaced. The case doesn't go away. If someone takes out if they finish the job they started on January 5th and try to take Mike Pence out, right? That's a key witness, as you just said. So explain what protective order.
And all the witnesses are threatened. I mean, the protective order is going to be about discovery and information that the government's going to release to Trump's team and what can be released to the public after that, what Trump can talk about and what not in that discovery. A gag order, like a great model is Roger Stone. I put that in my article. Everyone remembers Roger Stone, 2019, charged with contempt and lying to Congress, charged with lying to Congress and tampering with a witness, and by special counsel Mueller. The first order the judge gave him was a partial gag order. You can't talk about the case near the courthouse, anywhere else. Then he escalates. He posts a picture of the judge with crosshairs. Then she bans him from talking about the case or using social media at all, or having his surrogates. So then you have this escalation. The next thing is you put him in prison. So I'm hoping today's Judge Chutkin, as well as a protective order, entertains a partial gag order to protect the witnesses.
Yeah.
And we can't continue. They are yelling at Mike Pence just yesterday again in Iowa. You're a traitor.
Yeah.
What's he a traitor for? Not to the United States. A traitor to Trump.
Yeah.
And so
I saw that. I saw that footage.
Enemy. He's an enemy.
Yeah. I mean, you had a bunch of tweets. MAGA must be treated exactly like any other domestic terrorist threat. You said Trump's 2024 theme is clearly there will be blood. He wants violence, and MAGA terrorists will deliver it. And then you said instead of Trump running campaign ads that impact people about the economy, climate change, etc., he's spending campaign funds to smear prosecutors going after him. This is what the entire 2024 campaign will be about for Trump. And you're exactly right. Let's talk about Fani Willis for a minute. So clearly the indications are it's going to be next week now, right?
Right.
Is that, beginning of next week.
That's what it seems like. Her letter in May said she asked the judges not to have in-person hearings from August 7th to August 14th, which is Monday. So we all thought the arraignments would happen now, because that's where you clear at the courthouse for security reasons. So it looks like she doesn't even have the indictments yet, at least not to our knowledge, or they're going to be unsealed next week, or she's going to the grand jury. So yeah, we might see sprawling charges against Donald Trump, including the Georgia state racketeering statute, which is more sprawling than the federal one for his scheme in Georgia to overturn the election.
Yeah. Yeah. Dean, so in terms of the, this, whatever's going to happen in a few minutes with Judge Chutkan, I mean, here's the dilemma is, does she, how far does she go now? Do you give him another chance? But, the problem, like we're seeing with this guy, happened to have been shot by the FBI before he shot his intended targets, which could have been the president, the vice president, Alvin Bragg, whatever, right? But I mean, that's the problem with this kind of thing is like if she goes, okay, well, if you do it again, he's going to do it again. But is then a witness or someone else dead? Because, that's how I think, how urgent your piece sort of tease this up, right?
I agree with you, and I hope that Stephanie, that today she lays down a red line, not like we're going to go through this 3 more times. Here's the rule:
right.
You violate this, you're in contempt. You're going to be remanded to custody. That's what I hope. But think about where we are, Stephanie, as a nation. We have to have prosecutors, judges having protections. We have to worry about witnesses because the leader of the Republican Party is charged with crimes, and the GOP base loves him.
Yeah.
So we are dealing with this authoritarian fascist movement on U.S. soil that's embraced violence, that will use it. They view violence as a weapon in their arsenal. It's a deeply, deeply disturbing time going forward. I mean, and we need the judges to play a role in protecting this nation.
Malcolm Nance's book, They Want to Kill Americans. I mean, this guy, by the way, I hadn't heard all of these details that you write in your article. We've linked to it, by the way. It's just a great piece. But This guy, Craig Robertson is his name, 74, referred to himself as a MAGA Trumper. In the past few months, he had posted Facebook threats to assassinate Biden, who was in Utah. One post read, I hear Biden's coming to Utah, digging out my old gill suit. I don't even know what that is. Cleaning the
camouflage suit.
Okay, yeah. Right. Cleaning the dust off the M24 sniper rifle. Welcome, buffoon in chief. He also posted online threats in recent months against other Democratic politicians and prosecutors who have brought cases against Trump. For example, he posted on Trump's Truth Social that he was planning to go to New York to kill Alvin Bragg, saying, I want to stand over Bragg and put a nice hole in his forehead with a 9mm and watch him twitch as a drop of blood oozes from the hole as his life ebbs away to hell. I mean, this is how explicit, so people understand exactly, who this guy was.
This is MAGA.
Yeah.
This is MAGA. This is what we're dealing with. We've never seen this on U.S. soil in our lifetimes, a full-blown fascist movement. And Donald Trump won't denounce this guy, just like he didn't denounce the guy who went to the FBI office last August after the Mar-a-Lago search with an AR-15 and was killed in a shootout. Did Trump denounce him? No. Did Kevin McCarthy? Never. I wrote about it for CNN. Yeah. They never denounce it. So what they're doing is saying, we want your support. If you're going to use threats and violence, that's what Trump knows. And we know it too. Like, we know what's going to happen here.
Well, and also,
we live in the real world.
Yeah, I think he counts on his idiots being so dumb they don't know the difference between, a gag order or anything else. But you say it's not limiting Trump's First Amendment rights when it comes to running for office. He can speak about political issues, attack his fellow Republicans, President Biden on policy issues, or even personally. What it does do is prevent Trump from knowingly spewing lies from his megaphone that are designed to rile up his base to make threats or commit violence against judges, witnesses, law enforcement, jurors, etc. But again, I'm sure you've played some of the audio from these, Trump rallies. It's just astounding. I mean, it is a whole alternate universe.
Donald Trump doesn't care who dies. He doesn't care if we are killed. If he ever got back in office, the Democratic Republic ends as we know it. He doesn't leave alive. And it's why I keep saying that Donald Trump has to be convicted. Donald Trump has to spend his last days in a prison cell.
Yeah.
And not to be cruel, but as a message to anyone, if you ever attempt a coup, I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, if you ever attempt a coup, this is your fate. That's the only way to deter it. And we need to deter it.
It's
and we have to build coalitions of people.
This last Civil War, at least, say what you will, at least we had one set of facts. We knew what we were fighting over. Whereas, we played a guy yesterday. What was it, Jody? It was like, well, they blew up the building with the Dominion machines. Why'd that happen? It's like, what? We would fight a civil war over stuff that never happened. Right. Exactly. The election wasn't stolen. Well, there was no fraud. There were no Italian satellites. There was no, it's just what they believe. Biden's a crook. He took bribes. He should be in prison. I mean, there's a whole nother universe out over there, right?
Think about it. Like, they believe whatever makes them feel good.
Yes.
Imagine
Right.
that. Like, you just believe whatever you want. You don't need facts.
Oh.
It's like Peter Pan. It's like, hold my hand, Wendy, we're going to fly.
Right.
Is
Close
this the
your
guy?
eyes and think of Never Never Land. Like, that's what it's about.
And,
It's
and
not
Dean,
about facts.
there's no difference now between the lunatic fringe that you and I deal with. You know what I mean? In talk radio, they're in Congress. Like, who is this? Stubbe? Is this the guy?
Yeah, Greg Stubbe
Impeaching
from Florida.
Biden today, filing for what? Drugs and prostitution?
Yeah.
What?
Why not? Why
Okay,
not?
hang
Who
on.
cares?
Here we go.
Tomorrow, I intend on filing impeachment resolution on Joe Biden for bribery, for extortion, obstruction of justice, fraud, financial involvement in drugs and prostitution.
What?
All of these things. You just touched on the highlights of some of those, but we have all the facts
Okay.
and evidence.
Okay, show us the what?
Oh, he says he'll do that today. When he files the
yeah.
impeachment, he'll have all the evidence.
All the evidence. He better have all the evidence.
And he's going to charge Joe Biden for making it rain at Taylor Swift concerts.
Yeah.
And you're faking the moon landing and making it's warmer during the day. Have you seen the record heat? That's Joe Biden. We have to.
But these,
Look, they've got nothing. There's 18 Republicans in the House who are in districts that Democrats, but Joe Biden won. Good luck.
I mean,
go try to impeach Joe Biden. We're going to take those seats.
and these gravy seals, as Malcolm Nance calls them, I'm sorry, I know we would laugh if they weren't so dangerous. I mean, you write in your piece, just to finish, about this guy, Robertson, wearing a Trump hat and an AR-15 pin. Robertson posted on social media, to my friends at the Federal Bureau of Idiots, I know you're reading this, and you have no idea how close your agents came to bang. The FBI tried to interfere with my free speech right in my driveway. My 45 ACP was ready to smoke him. He then posted a message directed at the FBI. Hey FBI, you still monitoring my social media, checking so I can have a loaded gun handy in case you drop by again. Well, these people are going to learn the hard way. They're all going to end up dead or in prison.
Well, and who made the FBI the enemy? Donald Trump.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's done it now when he was president, going after Andy McCabe and James Comey. And then since he left office, he has continued to attack the FBI. Last year, when they searched his crime lair, Mar-a-Lago, he said they were planting evidence. He attacked the FBI over and over. So he's made the FBI a target. Anyone Donald Trump designates as a target will be met with violence, either threats or actual acts of violence. This guy died. He'd rather die for Trump than peacefully surrender to the FBI.
I just was going to ask you, and now we're moving into Fugelsang's territory about martyrdom
What?
and cults. But you said Robertson was clearly a MAGA extremist who wanted to avenge Trump by targeting, even if only on social media, those he perceived as Trump's enemies. It appears he was willing to die for Trump. That's exactly what Trump wants, and I can assure you that Trump will not denounce Robertson the way he never denounced the MAGA extremists who last August waged an armed attack on the FBI field office after Trump demonized the FBI for searching his home. You said we may very well see Trump make Robertson a martyr to rile up his base further, like he's done with Ashley Babbitt, right?
Yeah. Yes,
I mean,
exactly. And I note my article. That's right from the fascist playbook. I mean, Hitler exclusively didn't do this, but Hitler infamously did it with Horst Wessel, who was a Nazi killed by communists. They sang a song about him. And what they did is they used him as a propaganda vehicle to get people to commit more acts of violence for the Nazis and self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's what Trump wants. This is what fascists want. Like, this is what we're dealing with. I can't believe where we are as a nation.
Yeah.
I can't believe the GOP is where they are as a party. And this party's gone. It has to be destroyed politically. That's our only hope.
Yeah. Well, I talk about it all the time. My dad, was a Nuremberg prosecutor, and I don't, But maybe he and your mom and my mom are having a drink, and they can, explain it to us in our dreams later. But I hope they enjoyed the interview.
I hope so too.
I'm so proud of you, Dean. Thanks so much, honey. We're gonna do this more often.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'd love to, whenever you want.
Okay.
I'm here, living in this room. Just turn the
Yay.
camera on and I talk.
You are
I take it
officially
up and sleep.
a Stephanie Miller legal lad. I dub thee.
Thanks,
All right.
Stephanie. Thanks,
Love you,
everyone.
honey.
Have a
Thanks,
good weekend.
Dean.